Hello and welcome to this session of Practical Bookkeeping using software. In Lecture 1.2, we get an overview of the accounting app, which facility is aimed at speeding up the learning process. Accounting is conventionally taught manually, whereby you use the manual ledger and so on. But then, students these days find that to be rather time consuming and they want faster things. So we have designed this software to speed up the whole process. The process of double entry doesn't have to be done manually when software is available. So double entry and reports preparation is being delegated to software. And that leaves us the important task of ensuring accurate double entry. We should be able to identify, interpret, and record the source documents, then verify the double entry done by the software, the reconciliation, then illustrate, present, and explain 15 periodic reports and 80 accounting schedules at their end. Now, in this lecture, we're getting a quick overview of the 11 modules available. We start with the start facilities, miscellaneous, up to number 11. Now let's get to the actual device and get a quick overview and navigate through the software. Let me drag it down here. Now remember, this software is available on both Android and iOS. Looks like I have to make it smaller to fit in the screen. It's available on both iOS and Android. Let's drag it here. Or this way. All right. That's fine, yes. Now we'll start with start facilities. Now in this start facility here, there is starting guides. There is plenty of guides in 6 classifications. You click on any of them and you'll drill down. You want to get a general guide on how to use the general, okay, it's a multi-entry form. It was the multi-journal, it's now the multi-entry form. So you click on that and get access to guide available on the screen. There is pretty much guide available for you to get started. You look at, let's see, previous year comparison. Let's scroll, no, let's close that one, and we look at single journal recording. You click any of those. There's a guide on how to record a cash deposit. You look at, well, any of them really has got a lot of data inside there, and you click that one, you get inside the creditors module. Well, let's move to the next item in the start, which is the main menu. Now the main menu is this one across, which has got 10 modules. We start with miscellaneous, receipts. We're going to look at each one of them in turn up to reports at the end. Next to that, we'll look at setting the business name. You type the business name and the financial year. You do that. Of course, that is explained in one of the lectures. And then the financial months are established. Next, we look at setting the VAT rates. Conventionally, or by default, we've got 20% and 5% used in the UK, but these can be used to any percentages in any country using this facility. And remember, there is a guide on each and every facility available. Now we've got the recording date. This one is aimed at saving time. If you've got many transactions recorded on a particular date, you just click that one and determine, for example, if we're doing it in 2017, you click on that one there and then select the month. Now what happens is it saves the time of searching for the year and month. So whenever you open the recording form, the calendar that comes up is the month of December, and then it's easy to scroll around that month, basically to save time. Let's scroll down in start. Let's see what happens now. Now this is the chart of account structure. This chart of accounts structure is static. It's supposed to show a layout. Actually, it looks clearer when you download onto the device. Hope our internet speed is good. We should download it now. You can only download when you have the internet and you save it on the device. Now this chart of accounts structure, God, I don't want that message up there. All right, this chart of accounts structure shows you the accounts in the general ledger, really, from accounts number 1 up to account number 265. Just scroll down. And when you intend to add an account that isn't available, at least you know where to locate that account, and you know what impact that account will have on the notes. We're going to look at the notes in one of the chapters, and then we're going to look at the tax return. That tax return, I think, is covered in chapter number 2. In chapter number 2, we'll look at the tax return, and then we'll look at the accounting schedules from chapter number 17 onwards. So it shows you the relationship between the accounts, the notes. This note number 1 will be on the profit and loss account. This one, the sum of balances on coming from note number 1 will end up in box 15 on the tax return. And detailed reports about these accounts will be provided as Schedule F2. Okay, those are explained in chapter number 2, which focuses on the chart of accounts. So let's go back. Let's go back, and then we'll go back to our start facilities, and then below here we've got a backup and restore feature. You click backup to get a copy of the data onto the device. In case anything goes wrong, you can recover that information, and you use this facility to restore that information. That is also covered on this course. And then below that, let's see, there is practice documents. We've got these ones should also be downloaded actually. We've got at least 285 independent practice documents, and then the number increases when you look at information coming from the bank statements. So the bank statement has got several types of transactions bundled up together, and of course these guides what is the expected trial balance for month 1. That one is indicated here. Can you make it bigger? So those are the expected balances for month 1. Now when you're practicing after chapter 27, these are the guides to keep you on track since you'll be doing independent practice. Now let's go back to our device. We'll go back to, and then finally among the start facilities, we've got the profile, which is basically information about you. Now in module number 1, miscellaneous, we've got a dashboard, which is a general overview report. It combines the profit and loss account and the balance sheet. And remember, this one can be printed, and there's a guide on each and every report. A guide on each and every report generated, and there's a guide on each and every recording form. This is the 2-entry form. There's a guide there as well. Okay. And let's see the other facilities in miscellaneous. There is a multi-entry form. And with this form, you've got to decide how many rows you require. If you want 4 rows, you type in a 4, and the 4 rows are generated. Now let's see, we've got a product drawings form. We've got the chart of accounts modify. Now earlier on, we looked at the chart of accounts structure. Now this one is a facility to modify the accounts in the software, in the database. If you feel account number 2 should not be fees and charges, you click on that and then overtype to anything and then update. If you don't update, no changes made. Now account number 3 does not have a name. It's an income. If it's a restaurant you're preparing accounts for, it sells drinks, you can type that, and we name this account drinks, and then we update. Now the moment we update, that account will appear on all the recording forms and will be manifested in all the reports. Now next below here we'll look at the periodic tasks and reports checklist. Now this one is a guide on how many tasks you should do periodically. It's either monthly or quarterly, and whatever task has been accomplished, there is a box to tick. And what doesn't have a tick really is outstanding. It still needs to be done, or it doesn't apply to that business. So we've got about 33 tasks up to the bottom here, and where reports do apply, you just click on, let's see that P3 there. No, let's go to P4, which is the cash and bank summaries. So these are monthly summaries. You just click, and of course there's a guide here as I mentioned earlier on. Okay, now let's go back to our miscellaneous here. Well, next we have the year-end reports checklist. Now the year-end reports checklist has got about 80 accounts which should be prepared for a business. Now out of these 80, 65 of them are automated. And then we have about 15 which should be done manually or should be available in hard copy, like the D4 should be the VAT returns. They should be available in hard copy. Now let's see which one we can look at very quickly. If you like, you can look at report C3. You just click that C3 to get to the year-end comparative trial balance. Now this one displays trial balances on a quarterly basis, and we also end up with the year-end figures at the end. Let's go back to our miscellaneous. We need to be fast. Okay, and then of course this is the transaction edit feature, whereby you click any transaction, you click the edit to make changes. If you don't like the transaction, you can delete, but remember there are limitations. Now this one has got 2 guides on there, and there's a second one in there. Please do take time to look at them. Now we get a quick look at receipts and refund module. These are basically recording forms. They are basically recording forms. You click one of them. Let's click one of them, income received. You determine the VAT rate, say 20%, and of course the VAT rate is extracted from the source document. You select the account to be debited, and you select the account to be credited, and then you type the gross amount of 240. The other figures are generated. You type in a narration there, it's duplicated below, and the document number, and after that you click save. So in the receipts and refund module, we basically have recording forms. In expenses and refunds, it is also recording forms. In fixed assets, we've got recording forms for transactions, and then we've got important adjustments when fixed assets are sold. For example, if a fixed asset is sold on credit, this should be the form to use. Now you find that some accounts are pre-selected, and this kind of recording should take a very short time, probably between 30 and 40 seconds. You should be done, because when you extract information from the source document, at least half of the required information is saved in your head. Get onto the form, you've got the date, you've got the accounts. This is the account, this is the debtor's account, the one who bought on credit. You type in the amount there, the narration. It should be very fast. Remember, there's a guide there on each and every recording form. So this is the fixed assets module. All these are recording forms. Now the payments module, these are recording forms. There are some transactions which should take no more than 30 seconds. This one, the top account is pre-selected. You select the paying account. The paying account, wow. If it was cash, you select that. You type the amount. You type only the top amount. The one below is auto-generated. Narration is typed on the top row. Document number on the top row. The rest is auto-generated. Now, of course, this side you'll find that we've got the financial month and the financial quarter. And these ones help to determine the reporting, because reporting is done on monthly and quarterly basis depending on the structuring of the financial year. So that is the payments module. Now we've got loans, hire purchase, and credit card. These are recording forms. If a loan is acquired, you select this form, you select the loan account. Of course, these accounts can be customized, by the way. For example, you look at loan 3 account. Maybe it's another, let's say, Barclays loan. So you click the add modify button. It brings you here. Now you should know the account you desire, because we wanted to modify account bank 3, which I think is account 208. 208. I could be right. I'm okay. Well, yeah. Okay, 207 is account 2, is account bank 3. We wanted to modify the loan account. Anyway, we are now illustrating the edit feature. So you come here and then you say, well, this is Barclays Bank. This is Barclays Bank. You type BAR. Oh dear, Barclay. Is it number 4 below there? No, it's not. Barclays. Barclays Bank. And you click update. So when you go back to the recording form, that is going to be Barclays Bank. Now we wanted the loan account. We wanted the back. Okay, let's see if we can find Barclays Bank. Yes, that is the one we have modified. So on each of the recording forms, there is this add modify. You click that one to modify the account. Okay, so this is the loans and hire purchase module. Now next we have the creditors module, where we have creditors facilities. Now on top here, these are invoice forms, trade creditor payments, and so on. And then below here, we've got a facility for adding or modifying creditors accounts. Okay, you add or modify creditors accounts. And then below here, this is the facility for recording a creditor's opening balance. Now, on any of the forms that open up, you can actually add or modify an individual creditor's account. So it's about speeding up, making the work easier. Now, next we have the debtors module where we have facilities regarding trade debtors. Now, these are forms for recording transactions. You click sales invoice, you determine the VAT rate. If it's 5%, it generates the desired rows. And as you can see, some of the accounts, actually in this case, 60% of the accounts are pre-selected for you to save time. You don't mess around with this to minimize the errors. Now here, when you're typing, you type the gross amount of 120. Oh, no, let's make it 105 since it's 5%. You make it 105, the rest of the figures are generated. You type in narration, and then you select the debtors account up there, and you're done. All right, now let's see. Of course, now we're in debtors. Below here, recording forms, you use that button, that form to add, modify debtors, and that one to record opening debtors. And then the last module is about reports, which is divided into two. We have period reports. We've got 15 period reports, as you can see. Let's see, which report should we look at that will be generated very fast. Let's look at the profit and loss accounts very quickly. Now this is the profit and loss accounts. Now this is month 1. You select that one to look at the profit and loss account for month 2. You select that one to look at the profit and loss account for month 9. Figures are just generated, and of course you click this one to print that report. Now we want to create a PDF. We are not connected to the print at the moment. The printer is not on. So you select PDF and a preview is generated. You click the print button, and then you select the folder in which this one should be saved. Now on Android, it's very easy. You select the folder where the report should be generated, and after that you click done, and that is done. So let's go back to where we came from. Now that was a profit and loss account. That's a period report. There's 15 of them. And then finally we look at year-end reports. This is about 65 automated reports. And remember, on the checklist we saw another reports, how many? 15 that have got to be done manually. So these are the year-end reports. You click any of these year-end adjustments, and let's look at the year-end comparative trial balance. There we are. This is generated, and we are able to compare performance and figures on a quarterly basis. Well, that brings us to this lecture where we looked at the accounting app, an overview of the software that focuses our training on to speed up the whole process. Any questions, please, via the live sessions online. Thank you.